Blindly following science excessively is a form of superstition. The so-called superstition. Religion should never be simplistically equated with superstition. For example, the community culture of Westerners. Helping and loving one's neighbors. Inviting neighbors for meals at home at irregular intervals. Making and sharing food together. Christians here give thanks for God's gifts. Non-Christians can also eat happily. These ways of life all stem from the universal values of Christianity. This is not a manifestation of superstition. Similarly, traditional Chinese festivals like Mid-Autumn Festival and Spring Festival also originate from religious myths. We eat mooncakes, we eat dumplings. We pay respects to our ancestors during the Qingming Festival. None of these are superstitious behaviors. Without harming social order and public morals, we should all respect these customs and cultures. Because the essence of religion is faith. This faith is based on the free will of humanity, choosing what values and what lifestyle to choose. Therefore, religion is essentially a cultural phenomenon. In different regions, under different historical and cultural backgrounds, religion presents different characteristics. Religion also influences people's values, moral principles, and even their ways of behaving in various customs. The essence of superstition is a form of irrational blind worship. Humans as social animals have a nature to obey authority and leaders. When people lack confidence and fall into confusion and adversity, human society will spontaneously produce new authoritative leaders who provide decisions and advice to dispel most worries and confusion. For example, the medieval Catholic Church once sold indulgences on a large scale. This not only violated the basic tenets of Christianity, it is also a typical superstitious activity. And this superstitious activity is not targeted at Jesus Christ, but at the authority of the Church. Many people today, in order to ward off disasters and misfortunes, seek wealth and guidance. They seek so-called fortune tellers to bless objects. These are all based on superstitions regarding so-called authority figures. So we cannot say that Jesus Christ deceived you, but rather that money-grabbing priests deceived you. Just like being deceived by masters in temples, buying a lucky, blessed bead for 8,888. You also cannot blame this on the Buddha. A greedy, money-grabbing priest. A monk driving a sports car, deceiving for money and lust. These individuals are not enough to represent the entire religion and negate the overall image of the religion. Such value judgments are very rash and wrong. Of course, these are just superstitious behaviors of certain groups. The power of such authoritative leaders is not enough to influence the entire society. If a leader with ulterior motives gains even more unrestricted power, the whole society will fall into blind adoration of this authoritative leader, giving rise to widespread superstitions. People start to neglect their own thinking and judgment, placing their hopes for the future and the meaning of life entirely on an authority figure or organization. People may even give up the pursuit of truth for this. Just like Nazi Germany back then, they believed in racial supremacy. The entire society's people began to care only about positions, not right or wrong. If you were Jewish, you bear the original sin. If you were German, you must hate and slaughter Jews and consider other ethnicities as inferior. Based on this stance, Nazi Germany carried out many acts of genocide. Even though this behavior was wrong, people at that time were also under superstitious worship, feeling incredibly right and honorable, including their fanatical worship of the leader Hitler. They believed unconditionally Hitler possessed a supernatural wisdom and power. He was a sacred and unquestionable great leader. The Nazi organization, in order to demonstrate its legitimacy, often linked the Germanic people, even the history of the entire German region, linked to their own regime, such as the famous Iron Cross emblem. This appropriation of historical culture made people willing to believe Nazi Germany and its national history were seen as continuous. Betraying Nazi Germany was considered a traitor and a renegade of the nation. The entire society's population was also bound to on this evil worship of Nazi Germany. We can find superstitious phenomena. Actually, it does not depend on which religion it targets, but on specific individuals and things. For those lacking critical thinking, rational thinking ability, for people lacking basic logical knowledge, the object of superstition could be anything. For example, science. Science is undoubtedly currently the most trustworthy method in the human knowledge system. The most trustworthy method, but when people accept and apply it, it also generates a lot of blind obedience and superstitious behavior. The most common one is the media's excessive simplification of scientific research results and exaggerated promotion. This indirectly leads to a lot of people being superstitious about scientific achievements. They sometimes blindly believe in much pseudoscience in commercial advertisements. A large number of health products, miracle doctors, miracle drugs, can also, through false advertising, collude with the media to make a fortune. Furthermore, there are many people who believe in the supremacy of science. They believe that science and technology are omnipotent solutions. For example, ChatGPT is currently in the spotlight. They believe that the development of artificial intelligence will lead to what is known as a major wave of unemployment and new opportunities. In reality, this is just a question and answer technical tool. It can indeed help us more efficiently obtain information, but within the entire database of answers, there are countless social sciences, and the combined support of humanities disciplines, Technology does not have opinions, morals, or values. Artificial intelligence cannot replace humans in making any value judgments. Science also does not possess uniqueness. Science is not the only way to explore the world. Science also cannot answer all our questions. Science has its limitations. Just as our rationality has boundaries, we need the courage to question authority, and the courage to suspend standard answers. Maintain independent thinking and the spirit of questioning and criticism. Only talent can help us fight superstition, instead of choosing to defeat old authority with new authority. Defeating old superstition with new superstition. Looking at religious culture. In fact, it is not what we imagine. The superstitious culture we imagine, such as Christianity and Islam, both have a long tradition of speculation. Their commonality lies in absorbing the philosophical system of ancient Greek philosophy. Christianity, based on this foundation, established its own basic doctrines, pioneered the system of scholastic philosophy, while Islam, also, within the Arab cultural sphere, translated and annotated ancient Greek works, created its own unique philosophical system. Even the Catholic Church, which has received many negative historical evaluations, we can also find in the history of Western philosophy, based on the speculative tradition of Christianity, and the philosophical genes of ancient Greece. Throughout history, theologians and philosophers have constantly emerged, challenging the authority of the Church's interpretations. This also laid the foundation for medieval university education, pioneering a strong culture of debate. Academic debates became the most common teaching method at the time. Teachers at that time often arrange senior and multiple junior students engage in debates on a proposition. Teachers would appear in a role similar to judges, pointing out to students which arguments are correct and which criticisms are valid. For example, Thomas Aquinas. In his works, we can find that most of his writing style followed this mode of debate. The formation of this debating atmosphere cannot be separated from medieval philosophers. One of Abelard's representative works is Sic et Non. Quote, in it, he listed 156 theological propositions, such as whether there is only one God, whether God is truly all-knowing and all-powerful, and so on. Addressing these issues, he also listed 2 different viewpoints. In the next issue, I will provide a detailed introduction for everyone. Abelard's perspective on Western universities, the profound impact of the debating culture. Follow me for a popularized view of philosophy. Friends, see you again in the next issue.